Hello and welcome to Archvaldor's Hacks with Archvaldor and his amazing hacks. Let's get straight into it. So this video is about how to level up an alt army fast in the War Within from 70 to 80. If you were looking for a strategy from 1 to 70 or for single character leveling, there's some strong exploits in the channel archives here on YouTube, and there's also some amazing ways to level while AFK on my Patreon. Now, the strategy for leveling an alt army is a bit different from just leveling as fast as possible, and the main reason is to do with rested experience. Rested XP is a huge gain, getting you a full 100% bonus experience from killing monsters. If you're trying to level a single character from 70 to 80, rested experience doesn't actually last that long, so it tends to get neglected. But when leveling multiple alts, you can just use the rested experience on each of them and then move on to the next alt, getting a significant amount of playtime in with the 100% bonus XP. This changes your leveling strategy fundamentally, with mob grinding being twice as valuable. Things like questing and dungeons with their increasingly long queue times suddenly look much less attractive. So we just really want to kill as many mobs as possible when leveling an alt army as fast as possible with no downtime. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. First, we want to park our alt near a nice source of experience. I'm using the 20th anniversary lore quest, because you get a decent lump of experience from just answering a question every day. If you don't know anything about the lore of Warcraft, it doesn't really matter, it's multiple choice, so just keep guessing till you get one right. You don't have to park your alt here, you could park near a large number of mobs, or if you have gathering professions, near a cluster of herbs and mining nodes. Anything which gets you a nice one-off lump of experience quickly. Now, queue for the follower dungeon, Cinder Brew Meadery. This is the only dungeon in the game with a ton of mobs right near the entrance. This is completely unique. You can queue and re-queue for this dungeon, and you don't have to run anywhere, do any roleplay or anything. There is absolutely zero downtime. Now, don't go too crazy here. You probably can't do this in a single pull. The mobs hit pretty hard, even with your robot raid group helping you. With good gear and some practice, you can certainly get it down to 2 pulls. Bear in mind the chef and some of the more powerful NPCs take a while to kill and don't give much XP, so it doesn't really matter if you don't pull them. Once you've killed all the mobs, here's a magic trick to reset the instance without wasting time going through loading screens. If you saw my recent video on Dark Flame Cleft, you'll know what is coming here. Simply use the following macro and jump after you press it. If you time it correctly, then you'll find the queue for the dungeon pops while you are still in the instance. This eliminates a loading screen and makes for very fast mob grinding. Effectively, it is an instant respawn farm, but unlike an open world instant respawn farm, it is one you get completely to yourself. Now, this is important. Do not try and do this with no gear. You will die repeatedly. You will need fairly decent gear to do this efficiently. Fortunately, it is not really expensive at all and can be acquired easily for probably under 10,000 gold. Let me show you exactly how, because it isn't that obvious. So we're going to buy the gear we need off the auction house. And first, for the benefit of newer players, this is really crucial to understand. There is a bug on the auction house. When you look at weapons and armor, a lot of it is advertised as level 70. This is very often inaccurate with higher gear levels. The truth is that many of these pieces can only be equipped at level 80. Here's how you can tell if a given item is bugged like this. Select the item and hover over it. You will now see the true level at which it can actually be equipped. Make sure you only purchase items which you can actually equip at your current level. Note that the powerful 558 eye level crafted PvP trinkets can be equipped at lower level, and while they don't give their set bonus indoors, they are still very strong. Rings can be equipped very cheaply also. The malleable bands are excellent value. If you can't find any blue items, the rest of your armor can be filled with 357 gear, which is fine and very cheap. If you have hundreds of thousands of gold, obviously, you can go much higher with your eye level. Enchants are generally very cheap also, with the exception of your weapon enchant. Now, there's a secret buff in Cinderbrew Meadery to do with cooking. I'd recommend getting cooking and running it up to 25 quickly, so you can get the benefit of the mead in the left-hand corner of the entrance to the meadery. This gives you a ranged area of effect attack, which greatly slows NPCs and reduces their haste. Really useful for crowd control. Now, gear does drop from this dungeon, but it's usually not for your class or spec. However, you want to keep it because remember, this is an alt leveling strategy and it will save you money and time to funnel gear to classes that can use it via your warband. You won't get much gold from this dungeon, but you will get some, around 70 in raw gold and vendor trash per run. Now, you keep running the dungeon until you've maxed out your rested experience. Without rested XP, this isn't that much better than other options, and it's actually worse than some things. Now, it's worth mentioning, as I'm sure others will point out, that some delves and open world farms offer very attractive mob grinding opportunities for short periods, and may in the short term actually exceed the gains from this particular farm. However, generally speaking, these won't give you faster overall leveling for several reasons. For example, farming the Dread Pit delve around the entrance is very fast, but the fast leveling version, Smashing Scarred In, is only up on specific days, which greatly complicates leveling an alt army. Additionally, you have to physically go to the location to farm it, so you can't mix it up with anything else, such as the daily lore quest I mentioned at the start. You have travelling time and that slows things down. Now, bear in mind that my Patreon has the biggest archive of leveling exploits in existence anywhere, so for the really hardcore, you may want to check that out.